Welcome to Coaching Changes Lives. In this episode, we're going to talk about the ICF Core Competencies. So if you're new to our channel, do remember to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification button because every single week, we're coming to you refreshed with new video contents on how to improve conversation. And we believe that coaching is conversational mastery. So all the things that we're going to present here are things that are going to help you in your negotiations, in your conversations, in your relationships, in your leadership, in your teams. And this is really going to be exciting for you because the future, it's all about coaching. So if you want to find out more about what coaching is and what's this notion about why coaching changes lives, do remember to subscribe to our videos and stay tuned because we've got so much exciting content to present to you. So in this episode, we're going to focus on the ICF Core Competency number 3, which is establishing trust and intimacy. So many people say, why do we have to establish trust and intimacy in a conversation? Now, the thing about conversations, if you recall any conversations that you have, with your loved ones, maybe with new prospects, with new clients, one of the things that really happens in a conversation, it's really about trust. You're not going to share a lot of things unless you trust that person. Think about the last time when someone gave you a call and you have no idea who that person is, and the first, the moment you answer the phone, and what do you do? Right? You probably have a little hesitation, you have a little pause, or you may sound a little bit more angry or frustrated depending on the time of day, the call come in. So I remember, I often receive these calls from weird places and often disguised as some shipping company or bank. So whenever they disrupt my flow, and I'm always thinking, why are they selling me things, without even first establishing who they are and whether can I trust them or not. So before you can enter a conversation, trust must be established. Before you can enter a conversation, trust must be established. So what do I mean by that? You see, the depth of the conversation is equals to the depth of the level of trust. The deeper your conversation goes, the deeper the depth of trust. So the depth of trust produces an entrance for you as a coach or as a conversationalist to enter deeper into the hearts of the person. So if you're a speaker and you're thinking, how can I use my speaking voice to inspire people? How do I use that, right? So one of the things I do in voice coaching, I've coached many speakers, I've coached many coaches around the world. One of the things I teach them is this: how to use the power of their voice. And you see, it's not just communicating what you know in your head, but communicating from the heart and from who you are, the person. Because you are speaking from the person to another person. You're not speaking about using your knowledge to another knowledge. You're not speaking from minds to minds. You're speaking from heart to heart. What is the key essence in voice coaching that I always teach coaches all about and always coach them around is that the shift and paradigm shift from moving away from thinking I must transfer what I know to the other person to I must express my heart to the other person on the other end, because nobody's going to care what you got to say until they know you care for them. So that's really what establishing trust and intimacy is about. Now, you see, think about this. Nobody's going to be telling you their names. Think about this, even names, right? If you go on the street right now and I ask you, hey, what's your name? Right? Or if you're watching this channel right now or you're watching this video by chance, you'll be thinking, who on earth is he, right? Who is he talking to me? And why should I spend my time even listening to this guy? Who on earth is he, right? Where does he, how does he think that he has the ability to even tell me about coaching? What is his credentials like? Who is he even professionally? I don't even know his name. So all of us have this little gap. And this gap is actually useful for us because it protects us in the events of strangers. Little children, when they grow up, they never know, the difference between a stranger or a parent, but little babies know, right? They know that's my mom, that's my dad, they can sense it. But, as we grow up, we have installed within ourselves a certain barrier to prevent us from being cheated, to prevent us from being taken advantage of. So it's going to be really, really important for us to understand the psychology behind trust and the psychology behind conversation. To go deeper in a person's world, you must have trust, right? You must have trust. So what on earth is trust? Well, trust is that thing that's given to you. All of us, in our professional walk, professional careers, imagine if I go to your office and all I see on your title is the CEO of the company. I have an automatic trust on you because I trust the position. So we have positional trust, right? So positional trust is when I trust your profession, or when I trust an attribute of someone more senior than me, or when I trust that politician, or maybe the leader, or the business owner, or the speaker. There's a positional trust. However, positional trust is on shaky grounds, right? So we always say that positional trust may not last forever because when the person has a conversation with you, what then happens is that everything begins to unveil. So for example, if you meet me for the first time as a speaker, as a coach, you may give me a positional trust. But the trust is tested. in the conversation. The competence of the coach is tested through the conversation. So I may have a title as a coach, but as I'm coaching you and you feel that something's not right with this person, somehow this coach is just not getting it. I don't know why he's telling me all those things. I don't know why he's saying all those things, or this speaker is just not connecting with me. When that happens, that's a test of competence. That's a test of competence. So the second attribute of trust is the area of competence. Now, at first, you may have this pseudo trust, sometimes I call positional trust. But the second stage is that when the person starts initiating conversation with you, there's this challenge response. The person is challenging you unknowingly to see if you make sense, if whatever you say makes sense to them, because nobody's going to stand there for 5-10 minutes listening to whatever you're going to say unless they feel that there's something that they could gain out of it, right? So that test of competence will come at play. So if you're a speaker and you think that, hey, how can I make my speech more exciting, more compelling? Think about this. What is the level of your competence in your delivery to the audience that you're serving? Now, by delivery, I'm not saying that your articulation or maybe your precision of words, but really your competence in what you have to share with the person. I've heard speakers who are not articulate, but wow, they capture a whole audience attention. I've heard speakers who are very articulate. Every single word, every single sentences is enunciated with pristine standards. However, nobody's listening to them. So you see, the notion of speaking has nothing to do with with how we wrapped around with a certain facade of certain cloth or paper wrap, right? Really, at the end of the day, it's the test of competence. Now, the third thing that we think about is this: how a person will feel that you're connected to them is this notion of commonality. The more engaged the person is with you, the more commonality that you have with the other person, the more they can trust you. For example, if you hear me over this videos, or if you've seen some of my videos before, you know that I may look young. So you may think that, hey, if you're thinking starting young in the coaching career, thinking about whether you're too young, too old. I've coached people who are 70 years old and they start their coaching journey there. I've coached young people who are 20 years old and they start their journey there. So it doesn't matter your age group. You're never too young. You're never too old. And then when they see me and I create such a great deep commonality with them, because I said, hey, I'm not someone who's famous. I'm not someone who was born with natural talent. I was just someone who say, hey, I just love conversations. I'm just intrigued by conversations. Why is it that conversations can lift up people and can tear people down? Why is it that words have this power of life and words have this power of death? What about words that actually compel us? What about words that draw us in? So I have been on this passion, on this journey about really how conversation and change lives, right? So that's why I call my company Coaching Changes Lives. So think about this. Trust has three different components: your position, your competence, and the attributes of commonality. Now, when we think about trust, there's also another aspect known as the safe space that we create for our clients. How do we create a safe environment for our clients to thrive? So when we think about this whole attribute of safe space, we're also thinking about how do we create an environment where our clients feel comfortable with you and the clients feel very, very connected with you and very safe. So if you think about this, if you're watching the video to this point, I must have gotten a little bit of your trust, right? Or this environment I've created, it has provided you with some sense of safety for you to continue watching this video. So the great thing about this is this: the safe environment has nothing to do with the physical environment as much as it's to do with the psychological environment that you're creating for the client. Now, if I come and show you I'm a master's of so-and-so, I have this certification, I'm a master coach, I'm this, then I'm imposing on you. And when that happens, what will happen? As much as you try to create a connection with me, but that's no longer a safe environment. That is like a teacher to a student, that is like a guru to a mentee, or that is like, someone in a higher authority than someone else. No, the beauty of coaching, it's not one above the other, it's two on the same playing ground. We are both human beings on the same equal playing ground. We're both co-creating in the moment to create a masterful artwork, a masterful piece of conversation that will go deeper than anything you've ever experienced before. So that's what really coaching is. So that safe environment is so important. And the outcome of it is what I call conversational intimacy. I know when people read this competency, they say, intimacy, that sounds very fishy, So ICF have updated it to changing it to safety rather than intimacy. But I wish that they would cap to intimacy, because I know people who think that intimacy is a bad word or it may allude to something else, they need to change their minds, right? They need to go and repent and change their minds. But really, conversation intimacy is when the client can be so real, so vulnerable with you, and they can reveal the deepest secrets in their hearts. Now, that is something not everybody can do, because it's really something sacred within the person's heart. Now, to go to that level, trust must be at the deepest level. Right? And sometimes the truth is this: we never really reveal everything on our hearts to our loved ones as much as we do to someone that we can truly trust, someone who's neutral, someone who we know that will not judge us, someone who we know that will care for us. And coaches are there. Coaches are there to create a state of neutrality, to allow our clients to share with us. I have clients who tell me different stories, and they know whatever stories they tell me, it's kept safe here, because I'm not going to go around and sabotage them and to talk about them at all. No, in fact, one of the beauty of coaching is this: the client trusts you enough for them to work with you to go deeper than anybody has ever taken them before. Your role as a coach is to bring your clients to a place where nobody has ever dared venture before, and that's what I call deep inner work coaching. One of my signature programs, when I bring coaches into this whole journey of deep inner work, really working on the inner parts of their world, bringing them on retreats, bringing them on masterclasses and masterminds to really go deep within themselves. And when that happens, something births out of that. That's what we call the transformative potential of the individual. That begins to bend the very fabric of their reality, and that begins to produce an impact that is tangible and create an exponential result for them. So there you go. Competency number 3, the art of establishing trust and intimacy. Now let me read to you what ICF describes and that defines this competency as. So ICF says this: trust and intimacy, it's about ability to create a safe, supportive environment that produces ongoing mutual respect and trust. So it's a safe and supportive environment that produces ongoing mutual respect and trust. So what on earth is that? What does ICF mean when they say it produces an ongoing mutual respect and trust? Now remember this, that coaching is not a single direction. It's two directions. So it's not the coach lowering themselves as a servant to the client. No, it's not the coach above the client as the leader of the client. No, the coach and the client are partnering together. They're both on equal grounds. They're both co-creating together their experience, and this is going to be something unique for each and every single client. We're not boxing the client up in a certain structure. We're not boxing the client up in a certain formula, but every single client's conversation is impactful, has a tangible response, has a tangible outcome for them. So let's take a look deeper at what we mean by this. So there are 6 points that we're going to look at. First, it shows genuine concern for the client's welfare and future. So the way we converse really shows that genuine care. It's not like, oh, it's just another client and bye-bye, see you next time. No, there's a care that comes from our voice. Like for example, the reason I create all these videos is because I want to inspire 1 million coaches. My goal is to train and raise 1 million coaches to a high quality standard in terms of their skill, their competence, and their state management, right? I want to help coaches all around the world. And if you're one of them listening to this recording right now, listening to this video, I hope you join one of our sessions in time to come as well. And I want to see you in one of our classes. So the second point is this: continuously demonstrates personal integrity, honesty, and sincerity. So very interestingly, that this whole process, it's really about how we continuously show our professional standards, our professional integrity, because guess what? A coach brings together in the moment themselves, right? Your profession and who you are is not separate. Your personhood, it's who you are in the moment of the client. You're creating that in the moment of the client. So it's going to be a very important process for you to understand this. The third point is establishes a clear agreement and keeps the promise. So whatever we agree on, whatever that has been agreed on, there must be a safe and clear agreement. That, for example, if I say I'm going to meet the client 10 times in a month, then I must keep to that agreement. Or if I say to the client, I'm going to arrange 1 call a week, then I better arrange that with the client as well. So establishes agreements and keeps promises. And number 4, demonstrates respect for client's perception and learning styles and personal being. So this whole notion of understanding how the client thinks, how the client learns, and how the client learns to learn is going to be really important. I teach that in our mastering coaching class, how the clients begin to learn to learn. And the 5th point, it provides ongoing support for and champions new behaviors and actions, including those involving risk-taking and fear of failure. So some coaches are very afraid to ask that difficult question. So for example, I can challenge you by all of you hearing this. How many of you are going to fearlessly coach your clients? after this conversation. You're not going to be afraid to share your intuition. You're not going to be afraid to share your observations, and you're not going to hold your observations as gospel truth, right? But you're just going to coach fearlessly. You're just going to be in the moment with the client, be open about it, and go deeper than anybody has been before with the client. So that's going to be very important, right? Taking risk with the client. Number 6, ask permission to coach the client in sensitive new areas. So sometimes in the coaching process, sometimes one of the things that we face is this, right? Is that area sensitive? Is that area a risky area? Right? Especially when you go deeper with the client, you may want to ask permission, because some of these areas might be very scary for the client. Sometimes some of this might be very dangerous for the client. So sometimes what the client wants to feel is that, does the coach, can I feel safe with the coach? Can I be vulnerable with the coach? So you can ask the client permission, say, Mr. Client, is it okay if I share with you some observation? May I have permission to share with you some insights that I'm listening from this? Mr. Client, before we proceed any further, would it be okay if I share with you some thoughts that I have in my mind? Now, that allows the client the opportunity to open their windows for you to come in to have a conversation with them. Now, let's take a look at some of the competency markers or competency ratings across the whole levels. Now, what we see here, it's a diagram, what ICF calls as the ICF Core Competency Rating List, and you can download this from the ICF website as well. I use this to mentor a lot of our coaches to get them from ACC, PCC, MCC, and we do this through our Mentor Coaching Success program. Really, really highly effective program where we've seen so many results, masterful results from our coaches. And I dare say this, right? Our coaches are by far one of the world-class coaches that you can ever find. And that is my dream. My passion and my mission is to train and raise amazing coaches that can create tangible results in our client's life. So take a look at this. On the left column, it says there's the competence, right? Setting a strong foundation up front for the partnership with the client, establishing expectations for an open, honest relationship, demonstrating integrity, confidentiality, respect, and support, holding the client in unconditional positive regard. That is so important. Unconditioned positive regard. And so you have 3 different levels: ACC, PCC, MCC. I like to read for you at the MCC level, right? You can read the ACC and PCC by yourself, but let's listen to this. At the MCC level, which is Master Certified Coach, the coach is connected to complete trust in new and mutual state of awareness that can only arise in the moment and out of joint conversation. Coach is comfortable not knowing as one of the best states to expand awareness in. The coach is willing to be vulnerable with the client and have the client be vulnerable with the coach. And the coach is confident in self processes and the client as full partner in the relationship. Sense of complete ease and naturalness in the conversation. Coach does not have to work the coach. What does it mean by work the coach? So sometimes coaches will want to be like, I'm a professional coach. So they begin to work it out as a coach, right? So they will record the trainings that they have in the coach training to use the coach language, to use the training language, or they say, okay, I'm going to work it out. I'm going to ask deeper questions. The client is not getting a breakthrough yet, or the client's not crying yet, or the client's not getting the shift yet. I'm going to do something. No, when you do that, you're working the coach. You're not trusting the process. Many coaches want to work the client, but they don't trust the process. One of the things for us to consider as well is this, that the applicant will not receive a passing score if coach does not treat the client as a full partner, choosing not only the gender, but also participating in the creation of the coaching process itself. And the coach exhibits an interest in the coach's view of the situation rather than the client's view of the situation. Now, these are some things that you should not do as a coach, right? Also, the coach does not seek information from the client about the client's thinking about the situation. So it's really important. What you do is just do the flip side, right? You want to seek the information, right? And the coach does not seek information about the client's goals regarding the situation or any situation that seems to be on the coach's own performance. So sometimes coaches have this tendency, okay, you're a master coach, so you better show that you have all this sophistry of language, all this amazing bombastic words that will wow the client. You got to show your psychology, you got to show your sociology, you got to show your anthropology skills, you got to show your philosophical skills. No, put that aside, right? That is your own quiet time. That's your own time with yourself, and you can demonstrate that with yourself. But what's important in the moment is to allow the client to be there. That's what establishing trust is about. It's not about showing off, right? It's not about professing what you know. It's about being there with the client, being there in the moment, and you're being present with the client. In addition, the coach does not invite the client to share his or her thinking on an equal level with the coach and tools in the session without significant input from the client. There is an indication that the coach is teaching rather than coaching. Now, oftentimes this is what happens. The coach has so much things that he wants to share, which is okay, right? Which is okay to share. But at that moment, are you coaching or are you teaching? Are you trying to teach the client more things, or are you trying to coach the client? Is there a place for teaching? Yes. Is there a place for coaching? Yes. There's a time and season for all things. I would always do this with my clients. When I do exponential coaching with my clients, I will coach them masterfully. And if I notice there's certain resources that they need, I will say, okay, let's organize a session like this where I will teach you. So I'm very specific. I will teach you the steps. In the next session, let me coach you in this process. Let me teach you in that. Okay, so there is a differentiation that you want to make very clear for the client. So when we coach, we go deep. When we teach, we add on the missing gaps in the client's world. So there you have establishing trust and intimacy with the client, core competency number 3, right? In the updated core competencies, I'll be sharing new videos updates along the next few months as well to share with you how some of these competencies come together in play, right? So if you are wondering, how to reach out to us, how to get in touch with us, we have a public Facebook page. You can join us. That's called Mastering Coaching Facebook page. And if you want to subscribe to us and to stay tuned to keep updated with all these videos that we're creating, right? So hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell to receive all the latest updates of our videos. And if you'd like to join one of our programs, I invite you to come and join one of our programs and experience coaching like you've never experienced before. What I do for every single program is different, right? Every single run, I ask myself, how can I make it different? How can I make it a little bit more interesting? How do I change things? How do I be more innovative in each session? Why? Because every single session has different people, and every single person has different needs. So I'm not coaching the problem, but I'm coaching that person who's opposite me. And to that end, I wish you all the best in your coaching journey. Remember, one of the big important things, it's not about rushing. It's about creating that safe space for your clients to thrive. Until next time, this is Jedidiah here at Coaching Changes Lives.